Hello, I'm back again for my second response vlog, and this time I'm responding to Juanita, who did her vlog about Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, and I really enjoyed her vlog and some of the things that she had to say. Especially, she really brought out the point about the theme in the book of the will to survive, and I really felt the same way when I was reading this book, that it speaks to you on a really deep level about humanity and about having a will to survive in situations that are really unimaginable. And Juanita said in her vlog that the characters had every reason to give up hope in this book, and they really did. Their situation went from bad to worse, and then from worse to even worse. Every time you turned around, their problems grew and increased, and not just life problems, but problems that um, could essentially take their lives. They were fighting for their very lives. Every page of the book, every step of the book, they were fighting for their very lives. And I just think it's a really valuable theme to study and to explore, especially in the context of YA literature. I think young adults need to have this kind of concept as just part of their humanity. I just think it's important that everyone knows that people go through things like this, and it puts life in perspective. It puts a lot of things in perspective, and so I want to continue to explore that um, theme in here. Juanita also asked the question, what is a human life worth? And so we see throughout the story, in the context of this will to survive, they have to decide that their lives are worth all their belongings. They're worth um, valuable uh, things that are valuable to them because of sentimental value, like the pocket watch that Elena had to trade for Lena's brother Jonas. That had a lot of sentimental value, but it was not more valuable than Jonas. And so again, it puts things in perspective, um, that she essentially had to pay for her son with the father's pocket watch. Um, Sepetys writes on page 27 about this and answers the question, what is a human life worth? And she writes, that morning, my brother's life was worth a pocket watch. But really, the book really goes on to explore that those things are not even what they count as important anymore, because they are in this struggle to survive, and they're having to find the will to survive. The characters can't think about their lives in the context of valuables, but only in the context of survival. And for Lena and her mother and her brother, they have prioritized, and they've decided that one thing that's giving them this will to survive is that they're going to stay together. And so they really fight for that, and they really give up everything for that. They have to continue to give up all their valuables just to stay together with the woman in the hut in Siberia. They had to constantly pay her with food and other things so that they could live there and be together. But and so that's one thing that really gives them initially a will to survive, is staying together, and maybe the hope that they're going to see their father again, that they'll be all reunited. Um, so Lena also seems to find her will to survive in her drawings, and Juanita does point this out too. But however, you do see a progression in her drawings. They become darker and darker. She has a hard time portraying things the way they are. Instead, she wants to portray things in this convoluted, dark manner. For example, with the guard that she has to draw, she continually sees him with all these snakes coming out of his neck, and she wants to draw him that way because that's how she sees him. Um, and there's other examples of that as well. But after a while, after they go to the camp in Siberia, uh, Lena loses even her will to draw. While she continues to have to find her will to survive, she loses her will to draw. Sepetys writes on page 301, my drawings had failed. I had failed. I tried to sketch, but couldn't. When I started to draw, the pencil moved by itself, propelled by something hideous that lived inside me. And so she even admits that her drawings were becoming too dark for her to even bother to draw anymore. after Lena's mother passes away, now the only thing that Lena and her brother have left are each other and the brutal situation that they find themselves in, and now they're orphans, and so they don't have this uh, will to survive based on all the whole family staying together. At this point, they believe that the father is dead. Now their mother is dead, and the will to survive has to come from somewhere. And so we see it doesn't come from anything really on the outside, but that it has to come from the inside of each person. Sapetti sums up the themes in her book and the things that she wrote about on page 341, and she says, some wars are about bombing, but for the people of the Baltics, this war was about believing. And so it all came down to each person's ability to find a new reason to continue to have the will to survive. And we saw that change throughout the book. First it was family and staying together, and then it was for Lena, a lot of times it was for her drawing, and then it becomes about something just from the inside, and you find out that nothing from the outside can be your source of a will to survive, but it has to come from within. And so those are just some of the thoughts that I had while I was reading this book, and also while I listened to Juanita's vlog. And so I look forward to any comments or responses to this vlog as well. Thank you.